I'd like you to all introduce yourselves, take 1 minute, say who you are, who invited you, what type of person you'd like to connect with, and also a new feature we're going to try to promote is if you have any recommendations for people in the group, an experience you've had recently or a referral or just a positive experience, we'd like to share those with you guys. So let's start with you, Bob. Or is he frozen? He's gone. Okay. Let's start with our guest, Paul Levine, who's going to be speaking in a few minutes. Morning, Paul.
My name is Paul Levine, and as many of you know, I come from Flushing, New York. I was a practicing CPA for over 50 years before I got into commercial real estate, and I love what I do. We save our clients lots and lots of money and defer lots and lots of income tax when you buy or sell commercial real estate. And that is my specialty, and I'll be talking about it later. So let's move on.
Thank you very much, Paul. And Todd Miller, so you're up. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning. I was enjoying the conversation early this morning about the old guys, but Bob invited me, and first time here, regional managing partner for Jay Galt. I am in the Pacific Northwest, and I like to say, imagine if you could shield your family's finances from your business's ups and downs. With the right business credit strategy, you can. It's a game changer that could secure your family's future while boosting your business credit.
That sounds like something I'd like to hear more about.
Are you a financial planner? You do financial planning, tax planning?
No, we're a business consultancy where we teach corporations how to build corporate credit.
I see. Thank you.
Probably a few people in the group you'll have to have one-on-ones with. I can think of Jacob immediately. So thanks for showing up. Grateful to have you here, Todd. Russell Lookadoo, how are you?
Good morning. It's good to be here. Better be seen than viewed. My name is Russell Lookadoo. I am the HR guy for small business. Business owners go into what they do because they love what they do. They have a passion for what they do. They want to do it. They grow their business. They keep doing it. They're so good, they get successful, and they can't do it all themselves. Then they start hiring people. When they start hiring, that's when the mistakes and the headaches begin. They need the HR guy to help them navigate that. I align their team with their dream, and I've been doing it for over, 18 years. Been in HR since Ronald Reagan was president. So if you know somebody that sits there and says, my employees are driving me nuts, that's a clue to call me.
Thank you, Russell. Perfect. Betty Withrow, hi. Good morning, Betty.
Good morning, Scott and everybody. It's a beautiful day and we get to have it. I'm Betty Withrow, the Writer's Launchpad. I do all sorts of things related to writing. I'm a ghostwriter, content creator, editor, author, coach, and I do things for businesses based on what they really need in collaboration with a couple of gentlemen that we call Total Traffic and Conversion, where we provide businesses with marketing solutions that get them what they really want. My contact information's in the chat, and I'm very, very happy to be here. I will say that working with Bob's team has been phenomenal for my business, so I highly recommend talking to Bob. Thank you.
Thanks, Betty. Good morning, Ellen Holmes. There you go.
As always, I have to find the unmute button because if I keep it on too long, I'll just stay yammering. But good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. My name is Alan Holmes, out here in sunny Southern California. I specialize in connecting business owners, whether they're home-based or storefront entrepreneurs, those with new ideas, inventions, technology, or the everyday consumer with unique resources. In short, I call myself a human search engine. Love to collaborate, connect, and network with some of the affiliates that actually I am a part of in the world, such as Mr. Bert Franklin, who's not here, or Sally Guyman. Those are just two affiliates that I'm going to be part of. And of course, the incredible, legendary Bob in MyCity. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your world today. I'm going to hand it back to the legendary, the incomparable, Mr. Scott Hartman. Thank you, sir.
Nice. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate you. Ed Cincinnati. Good morning, Ed. How are you?
Morning. Morning. Ed Cincinnati. I'm franchise owner of Edward Cincinnati and Associates Dream Vacation. This is the largest full service travel agency in the country. And we are your vacation planners. And Halloween is just around the corner. And we're offering many treats, but no tricks. Our Trip or Treat sales is on now until the 31st, and whether it's a cruise or a land vacation, we have something for everyone with many exclusive offers on our website. And please remember, there are no fees for our services.
Boy, that kind of reminds me of the Vincent Price movies, that delivery you had right there, Ed. Good job.
Vincent
Thank
Price.
you. Okay, thank you. Good morning, Phyllis Arnstein.
Good morning, everyone. I am in Florida and the weather is absolutely beautiful. We finally dropped below 90 degrees, so it's been pleasant. And so, can you ever imagine that you could be debt free? And how do you do that? We have a software system that shows you through a free analysis how you can pay off mortgages, car payments, credit card debt, student loan debt, whatever you actively pay on. And we show you how you pay it off in a third to a half the time using no extra money. And my software is so good that it will give you an exact month, day, and year that you're going to be out of debt, not sometime, not around this time, but exactly. And we warranty that date. If you are have anybody that you know in the real estate investors realm, also real estate people, mortgage, and then I'm looking also for teachers and first responders. And I am Phyllis. My information is chat, and I look forward to meeting with you guys and doing a Zoom one-to-one.
Thank you very much, Phyllis. Great to see you again. Phil Wolfstein. Good morning, Phil.
Well, good morning. Great to be here. Great to see everyone. Phil Wolfstein with the Zoom Business Brokers in Los Angeles. I'm a certified business broker. And what I do is I help business owners find qualified buyers for their business. And doing that generally will start or answer the question of what's my business worth on today's market, arm's length to a qualified buyer. And I perform that as a broker opinion of value, and engaging with the owner and the seller to find out where they are in the process, whether they're thinking about developing a strategy, an exit strategy or plan, whether they have one. And if not, then helping them to work through referrals to work with business advisors, coaches, with CPAs or lenders if necessary, in order to help them prepare and get ready to sell the business. And where I am in that team, in that whole process, is answering is then doing the valuation would be listing the business, preparing a marketing program for the business, taking the business to market, working going into due diligence, conditions release, and working with landlords either for the sale of the property or the building that goes with the business, or working with a landlord for a new lease assumption or for a new lease, and then into escrow and a sale. And as you can tell from that whole deal there, that selling a business is a process. A lot of people don't get it. They think it's an event. It's not. It's a process. It typically takes 7 to 9 months. And a certified business broker, part of that team that then takes the owner of the seller through that to a successful close. And of course, working with financial advisors, tax consultants, transactional attorneys, and again, CPAs, in order to help the owner or the seller of that business transition to a successful sale and realize the net after tax gain or a position that they need to go into retirement or pursue their dreams going forward. So always working with professionals like we have here. We've got some great people in this networking group that I've made some great relationships with, and actually done a lot of business with and continue to do referrals with. So it's a pleasure to be here this morning.
Thank you, Phil. What you relayed is so thorough that any business owner who doesn't use a business broker when they're trying to sell is really doing themselves a disservice. So appreciate you.
Amen.
Jacob Bassett. Good morning, Jacob. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see familiar and a few unfamiliar faces. So I hope, we can get a little bit more time as well, hearing about some of the newer people who are here today. But I am Jacob Bassett, located in Illinois, just outside of Chicago. We are directly partnered with major banks and credit unions to provide some alternative lending programs, but there's still the traditional, bank programs, not any private, super high interest, short term types of loans. And we offer those for new startups as well as established business owners who need some extra working capital. And it's a very unique benefit because they can utilize our programs alongside business lending. So it doesn't restrict them to just being able to get one loan and then they're kind of done for, about 6 month cool down time. They can actually get a business loan. And if it didn't meet their full needs, they can utilize us as a backup. Our company is Preferred Funding Group. And I look forward to, meeting many more of you guys.
Thanks very much, Jacob. Great to have you here. Good morning, Bill Schweber.
Hi, I'm Bill Schweber. I do IT data forensics, usually for major litigation. I network with attorneys and accountants who are involved in those fields, and I have thousands and thousands of contacts in my database. So if somebody needs an attorney or an accountant and they want to network, and if you know the exact type and demographic, I might be able to introduce you.
Where are you based out of, Bill?
Same place Moshe is. He introduced me, New Jersey.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Nice to have you here again. And let's move to our friend Corey Northington. Good morning, Corey.
Good morning, everybody. Well, my name is Corey Northington. I'm based here in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm an independent associate of Legal Shield. I help empower individuals, families, and small business owners with legal and identity theft needs. So whether, as a lot of y'all do, review contracts and documents to have a legalized look at and make sure it's sound on both sides so every party can have their advantage. Also, too, we do unlimited consultation so we can help in any legal area that you can think of to help grow, which is important to you, whether business and or personal. So I left my information in the chat. Be glad to help out in any way I can. And I'll turn it back over to you, Scott.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Corey. Really appreciate you. Good morning, Moshe Math.
Bill Schweber is from metropolitan New York area. All right, my name is Moshe Math. I'm a partner in a company called Neurotrain Sciences. Our system looks similar to the massage chairs at the airport, but we give what they call sonic massage. We use sound, light, and vibration, taking your mind and body through a voyage and leading into relaxation through what they call brainwave entrainment. I'll explain one example of brainwave entrainment quickly, and then the other is this actual story quickly that occurred. Brainwave entrainment is when your computer freezes, and it's either too heavy or too expensive to throw against the wall in frustration. So what do? You turn it off and on again and hope you forgot I had a problem. And that's what we're doing with the brain. Quick story is I was at a trade show in Framingham, Massachusetts through the American Massage Therapists Association. It's a regional convention. And the midpoint was Framingham, Massachusetts. So at a gathering afterwards for those who were vendors and those who were participants, someone asked me, what does your system do? And I said to her, you see that glass of wine in your hand? And she said, yes. I said, our system does what that does without the calories and the after effects.
Love that. Yeah, my testimonial of the chair is amazing. I want one. I flew 2,500 miles to get a ride in that chair, and it's a memory I will treasure. Honestly, great to see you again.
I'm saying I hope I can get back to you not maybe later today to do that testimonial we talked about, possibly a video or visual or whatever. So,
all right,
thanks. Thank you again. Sorry.
Moshe, thank you again for introducing me to Jillian. We're going to be talking after she finishes this some kind of a very dense project that she's doing to further her aspirations. She's wonderful. Thank you.
This is one time I get to be more like Alan Holmes. So
It's a blockbuster, Masha. She's wonderful. Thank you.
All righty. Bob, welcome back. Please tell us a little bit about yourself in 1 minute or less. You're muted, Bob. There you go. Nope. Still muted. Bob,
Yeah,
you're muted.
you unmuted and then remuted.
There we go. Yeah, I'm having internet problems here today. But I think I might have solved it. Well, I think what's interesting, I've been doing networking for, oh God, forever. I got started in the internet when there was only like 30 to 60 million people in the world on the internet. And I just knew it had to be, is where I had to go. So I've made that my life venture and I'm loving it. One of the things that Scott and I were talking about last night was putting together some podcasts. Any thoughts on that? Doing interviews?
Yeah, when we did, when we've done that in the past, the podcast and interviews, guys got very good on LinkedIn, and I got a very good response to that. So I think just short and sweet in order to have a point, but keep them relatively short. I think it was under 3 minutes, and we got a good response last time. I think they were effective.
This could be a MyCity podcast, Bob.
Yes.
Good idea. And then what I would also do is send out the web link to all the members of all the members of MyCity, so they know it took place or they know in advance it takes place, and that way they can have access to it, and that's how you can get more referrals indirectly through it.
I love it.
And the other secret ingredient is a distribution in the channels that feature podcasts versus just through YouTube or LinkedIn, because there's obviously it take a little while to get onto the Apple system, but there are other means of distribution for podcasts specifically. So you can do audio only, or you could also do video. And in fact, I'm going to make that a nice, perfect intro to my friend Debbie Voris, who's been doing some podcasts. So tell us all about it, Debbie.
Hi, well, I may have a solution for you guys, and I can connect you to that individual. It'll do all that. Anyways, I am Debbie Voris. I am a certified holistic health coach. I revitalize people's lives by helping them identify the root causes of their health issues, and I create a custom natural holistic strategy to address them in the areas of mind, body, and soul. So that's pretty much my opening for my own podcast. But I can, if you have any health issues and stuff like that, I can address them. I do have a niche for women who have hormone problems, want to release weight, and are stressed. So I also deal with that as well. Now I have a podcast on w4wn.com. And I've actually had Ben Fuchs as my guest this last week to give you a taste of what our live event will be like. Unfortunately, it had to be pre-recorded because he wasn't available. So it wasn't a question and answer session, but he's very dynamic. I just saw him recently and everybody was awestruck by him. He was phenomenal. So my event with him in person is in November 11th at 11 a.m. in Huntington Beach, California. Doors open at 10 a.m. and tickets are available. I'll put the link right now. But you may want to, I guess it's not letting me do that. You may want to, I may have to break it up in several sections, but you may want to check my, TV radio show for more things coming up, because I always have these unique offerings coming up and working with other people. So if you need something to improve your health, contact me, because with Debbie Changes Lives, you'll see and feel the differences.
Thanks, Debbie. You should be able to paste all of that into the chat.
It says it's too long, so I'm gonna have to. I didn't have that problem last time, so I don't know what happened. So I will try again.
Do it in sections, Debbie.
Yeah, I'll do it in sections. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
well, thanks for being here. Appreciate you. And we're going to next speak with Rudy Gargioni. Good morning, Rudy.
Good morning, good morning. So I'm Rudy Gargioni, and I teach people how money works. All of those things we really should have learned in school, but they never got around to teaching us. Gee, I wonder why. My tagline is I don't want finance to be the other F word we don't say. I want people to be able to talk about their finances and their financial future from a place of empowerment rather than a place of fear, maybe even around the dinner table. That'd be pretty nice. So financial literacy is the crusade I'm on. I want people to have clarity on their financial picture, understand what it takes to have the financial future they want, and at the end of the day, have some peace of mind around that. So that is what I do in a nutshell, because I feel that 99% of Americans have never gotten an education on finance, and they also don't have somebody in their corner helping them with their finances either. So I'm Rudy Gargioni. That's what I do.
Thank you, Rudy. Where are you located?
Tiny little town of Florence, Oregon, right on the coast.
Oh, nice. Beautiful area. And I haven't seen, did you post your info in the chat?
I'm doing that right now.
Okay, great.
Great to be here, guys.
Especially if you are on LinkedIn, which I assume you'd be, include that link if you can. And how did you hear about MyCity?
Oh, man. It's been a while. I want to say Bob Friedenthal was telling me about it quite a while ago.
All right. Well, thanks. Great to have you here. Appreciate
Great to be
your
here, guys.
popping in. Thank you. And in just a minute, we're going to turn it over to Paul, but I'll just introduce myself. I'm Scott Harrell. My business is Lifetree Prosperity. I am a business consultant and insurance advisor. I specialize in helping businesses reduce their overhead costs. And I also do life insurance, health insurance, and Medicare. And it's prime Medicare season right now. I have a brand new Medicare website. It's lifetreeprohealth.com. And I'm based in Long Beach, California. I'm licensed in several states. And I'm your host of the show. And we're going to now turn it over to Paul Levine. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Again.
My name is Paul Levine. I am a commercial realtor, and I am based in Southern California, but we do deals all over the United States, wherever the Internal Revenue Code is the tax Bible. My background is that I was practicing CPA for over 50 years before I got into real estate. And I've been lucky enough to be involved in lots of things that most CPAs aren't. I negotiated the sale of one of my clients to this small company in Delaware called DuPont. And they had 4 guys across the table from me, and we got everything we wanted. I was an expert witness. I worked on litigation cases. I just have fun. And what we're going to talk about today is saving or deferring lots and lots of income taxes. When you buy commercial real estate, you are buying 3 things. Number 1, you are buying the land, and the land is not depreciable. The land is supposed to be there forever, but don't let anybody tell you that if you're in the middle of an earthquake in Southern California. Then you are buying the structure, the building itself. You are buying the walls, the ceiling, the floors, and that is by definition going to be depreciated depending upon what type of building it is. If we are talking about an apartment building, the depreciable life for that property is 27.5 years. And by the way, it is straight line depreciation. So you just take the cost of the structure and divide it by 27.5 and take that much depreciation every year. The third thing you're buying, which is most important, is you are buying tangible personal property. Tangible personal property is anything that may be attached or included in the building, but can be taken out without destroying the structure. If again, we are talking about an apartment building, we are looking at the cabinets in the kitchen, the countertops with the kitchen and the bathroom. We are talking about ceiling fans. We are talking about doors, anything that can be unbolted or taken out from the structure without, again, destroying it. The tangible personal property gets depreciated over either 5, 7.5, or 15 years. So you get a much shorter depreciation period, giving you bonus depreciation, and we'll use that term in a minute in a different way, but giving you a bigger write-off at the beginning. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to show you how this all applies to your regular businesses, but let's get there in a few moments. So you can take the shorter depreciation period for those items, but there is something called bonus depreciation, and it still exists, although it's being phased out right now. Bonus depreciation said, and then I will bring it down to says, bonus depreciation said that you could take 100% of that, the cost of those items, which I just called tangible personal property, and you can take a deduction for them in 1 year. That's a huge deduction if you're talking about an apartment building with 50, 30 doors even, even smaller. And you get to defer the income tax on that. And you get to defer it for a long time. And I say defer because eventually you're going to pay the income tax on it, but it gives you cash flow now that you wouldn't have had otherwise. That cash flow when you are buying a business, when you are buying a building, when you are doing anything like that, allows you to buy another property that may be next door, maybe make improvements in the property that you are buying now. And as I always like to say, if you want to, it can be the money for the Hawaii trip that you've always wanted to plan. So you end up paying income tax on those things eventually when you sell the property, but there are ways to get around that, but that's not necessarily what we're talking about right now. When you have a business, now remember I said tangible personal property, and that tangible personal property is in existence in just about every business you can think of. Think of a restaurant. Think of the booths that are in the restaurant and the restaurant equipment that is in the kitchen. When you think of a bowling alley, just think of all of the stuff that can be removed from a bowling alley without destroying the structure. And if you come up with just about any business other than somebody sitting at a desk with a computer like I am right now, then those businesses will qualify for having bonus depreciation. Now, I said bonus depreciation was and is, and that's different. Bonus depreciation came in under what is known as the CARES Act. And up to 12/31/22, you were able to take that 100% of the tangible personal property and write it off as a business deduction. Starting in 2023, where we are now, the deduction is only limited to 80% or $800,000. And in a couple of months, when we're in 2024, it'll be 60%, and then 40, 20, and in 2027, it will be gone. I was a CPA for over 50 years. It was a long time. And I had seen administrations, political United States administrations come and go in all of those years. The bonus depreciation right now is there and has benefited so many real estate developers, real estate investors, and it's not something that the government is going to take away and not replace, because if they take it away and don't replace it, they're going to lose a lot of purchases and construction of real property, and those things keep the economy going. So there will be something someday soon, I feel, to replace bonus depreciation. And that bonus depreciation may then be called Mickey Mouse depreciation. I have no idea what the government is going to call it, but I am pretty sure that they're going to call it something. And going back to the businesses, when I learned years ago of bonus depreciation, it was always associated with the purchase of real estate or the construction of real estate and then renting out. But realize if you are a business, any kind, I used bowling alley and a restaurant before, but if you have a warehouse, if you have offices, if you have just about anything like that, you're going to be able to take a huge depreciation deduction on your income taxes early and upfront, saving you that money. Now, I keep saying that it is a deferral of income taxes. Most of you will know what present value of money does. So having $1 in your pocket today is worth a lot more than having it in 5 or 7 or 10 years. So that's what we do for you. My partner and I have been doing this for a very long time. He has been in cost segregation, which is segregating the assets between the land, the building, and the tangible personal property. And we've been doing it for a long time. We love what we do, so we are pretty good at it as well. Any questions? None?
I was giving everybody a chance. Is how you divide those depreciations, is that separate from cost segregation, or is that part of it?
That is cost segregation.
That's
how
okay.
you
That's what I thought.
now realize something. An accountant does not do cost segregation. There are firms out there that do it, and they're made up of engineers. So an engineering firm will come through and segregate the different types of assets that you have, which will have different lives. But right now, the different lives all meld into one because of bonus depreciation.
Got it. And then could you speak at all about R&D tax credits? Is that something you get involved with?
It's something I did really nicely a while ago. The government has certain tax credits, the things that they want you to do, and they make those things easier for you to do by giving you a tax credit. I once walked into a situation where the client had a controller who was a CPA, and I was doing an audit, and I was presented a profit and loss statement by the accountant, and it showed an 18% gross profit, which is not terrific, and that the company owed $70,000 in income taxes. And I went in there for a couple of weeks and I played with the numbers. And then I said that research and development is going to be $700,000, and it will create a research and development tax credit of $70,000 to wipe out the income tax. I then sent in, excuse me?
Boom.
Oh, wait a minute, it got good.
Gets better.
I then sent in an assistant who was there for 2 months because the records were terrible and we had to reconstruct a lot. And at the end of those 2 months, the research and development came out to $693,000. I was 1% off. And it did create a $70,000 research and development tax credit, which wiped out the income tax. By the way, the company was sold 6 months later, and that was what they wanted to do. Research and development income tax credits are for work that you do to create something that wasn't there before, whether it be a concept, whether it be manufactured products, whatever it is, you have to segregate those costs. And don't forget about the overhead, because you may have wages and you may have purchases of product, but that overhead that you can allocate to research and development, giving you a larger research and development tax credit, should never be overlooked, because everything is made up of materials, labor, and overhead. So the Internal Revenue Code still gives you the ability to take those items. It also, as I stated, does make your profit and loss statement look a whole lot better, because we had a manufacturing company that had an 18% gross profit, which was terrible. And by taking those $693,000 of costs and segregating it from cost of sales, we brought up the cost of sales percentage. Well, we brought up the gross profit percentage to 40%. And that's why the company was sold 6 months later.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
I go in for, excuse me for 1 second, I'm thirsty. I go in for the whatever hits me, and situations. I've been in situations that were hairy. I was in a partnership, and my partner had a client whose business was very interesting. He would go to the track every day, and he had clients who would bet huge, and they would give him the winning ticket, and he would go to the window, say it was his ticket, and the rule then was you had to deduct federal income taxes, withholding taxes. So he would get the net amount and give it to his clients. And his business was that at the end of the year, all of that withholding was his. And he was the first one in to do his tax return. His taxable income was always close to zero. And the withholding would give him a refund and the money to live on for the year. And I was in Tennessee, and I got back, and there was a message that 2 gentlemen, one from Secret Service and one from the Internal Revenue Service, CID, Criminal Investigation Division, wanted to see me. And it so happened that that Monday was a holiday, and I called these 2 gentlemen, and it was interesting. The IRS didn't have an answering machine. Secret Service does.
Yeah.
So I left a message, and they show up the next day, and I asked for their credentials, and then we go into the office, and they're telling me they're looking out. This is Century City, Los Angeles. And they go, what a nice view. And we're talking. And I go, time out, guys. I didn't call this meeting, and you're not my usual guests. And they said that they asked a question about this guy and his business. And I told them that I really didn't know anything. It was my partner's client, and I just signed the tax return because my client was out that day. But then we were sitting and talking a little bit further, and I said, there's one thing that bothers me. And they looked at me, and I said, there are 2 guns in this room, because both Secret Service and CID carry guns. And the guy from Secret Service looked at me and said, good thing you didn't say 3.
Say what?
Good thing you didn't say 3 guns.
Oh.
Should have told him 3, Paul.
Excuse me?
You should have just told him 3.
No, I didn't want to mess with them. They turned out to be nice guys. And in fact, the guy from Secret Service said if I'm ever in Washington and I want a special tour, that I should contact him. So we got along okay.
Use taxes now too?
I didn't take him up on it. I've never been to Washington, D.C., as it turns out. So I think I may still have his contact information, but that was a long time ago.
So do you know what happened to the client? You know, did he with the were they auditing, or what actually happened with the transaction they were looking into?
I turned that over to my partner. To be honest, I didn't want to have anything to do with these guys. They weren't my regular guests, let's just say. But they were nice guys.
Sure.
Just, you know, I come from Atlantic City, and I can't tell you, because many of you know Atlantic City has casinos. And casino started in Atlantic City in 1979. And in the process, plenty of people who win money with chips and everything else give it to others to start cashing it in, so they don't hit the limit where they have to report it to the banks, or which then goes to the government based on their casino winnings. So when I listened to your situation, it just brought back plenty of memories where people might get $100 for cashing $1,500 in chips from winnings.
Yeah, there are deals out there and people trying to get around the laws all the time. And my best friend used to call me every week and he goes, I got this idea and I can save income taxes. And my line was always, Barry, I'll bring you cigarettes in jail. And we didn't do those. But I got to tell you, one day he came up with an idea and it ended up working out. And we ended up saving him a small fortune in income taxes. So keep asking those questions and thinking about ways to get around it, because one of these days you may come up with the thing that works.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on, which is illegal. People are using now is you're using crypto to get around paying taxes, state taxes on items they're buying.
But one of these days, the government is going to figure out how to control crypto, and then that's all going to be gone.
Oh, no, I'm not condoning this at all. In fact, I lost the contact because I said that what they're doing is illegal. So, I understand that. It's going to be how they're going to figure out to go into, without getting into detail, how they can go into the crypto wallets, not the electronic wallets where they have monies in their accounts and it's based on numbers that they can then use to make the transactions.
Right. That also happens to be a big thing with foreign investors. They love cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. As a licensed insurance agent, I have to do training and money laundering, anti-money laundering training every year. It's a huge problem.
Yeah, it really is.
Well,
And
thank you, Paul. That was
people are doing it.
amazing.
May I ask one other question? In terms of fixtures, when it comes to toilets, when it comes to lighting, what's the usual time frame for depreciation?
That would probably be, I haven't ever done those specifically, but with all of the background I have, I would say that was probably 15-year property.
Oh, it is that long. Okay. Excuse me.
I don't think it would be 5 years. It could possibly be 7.5.
Okay.
Okay, he's off on a phone call. Any
Well,
other
thanks,
questions?
Paul.
That was great, Paul.
Thank you.
One thing we know is taxation is complicated. So having somebody that knows their stuff makes a lot of sense. Especially with what you're doing now with the with you and Fred are working on now for. So tell us who you want to meet now.
Well, obviously, I would love to meet real estate investors, but as I said before, any business is going to be able to segregate, to separate those items that are tangible personal property from anything that would be considered real property, whether you own it or rent it. And those income tax deductions when you're starting a business are really, really nice. And if in the first year of doing business, you end up with a loss, which a lot of people do in the first year, those losses can be carried forward. So then when you start making money, you will offset those losses against income and pay less tax or no tax for a while.
Always interesting, isn't this?
Yes. And
So
Paul, if you
how-
get a chance, can you put your contact info in the chat?
I
see it in
don't know
there.
how to do that. Let me just, that's something I should have done. My name again is Paul Levine. My telephone number is easy. It is 818-298-4000. And my email address is Levine, Levine at lspropertypartnersllc.com.
Marie, can you put that in the chat room for him?
I've already done that.
Okay.
Oh, you
Thank
did?
you.
Okay, good man.
There it
Hopefully
is.
that's right. Okay, great. Thank you, Paul. It was really great having you here. And we've got a few minutes left. We had one person who dropped off and came back, Damar Lewis, and then one person who was probably stuck somewhere else in the internet, Burke Franklin. So good morning, Damar. Tell us who you are.
Good morning. My Tamara Lewis. I'm a business coach. I'm a pharmacist of 40 plus years. And in fact, one of the questions that I had for Paul was, so inventory would be considered a tangible asset, correct?
No, inventories are a tangible asset, but they don't come under the depreciation rules. They are bought for sale. And you have a section of a financial statement called cost of goods sold, where you take your sales minus your cost of sales, your purchases, your shipping costs to get those items into you, and so on. And you don't depreciate inventory. Inventory just turns over.
Okay. And even though that, let's say that you're a new business or pharmacy in this case, and you spend, whatever, $200,000 in inventory to open the pharmacy, and but you only go through sales. Let's say you go through half of that as far as your sales. So that is, I guess that's what you're talking about is cost of goods sold. So you would just subtract what you spent versus what you sold.
Right, and only you're not subtracting that $200,000 for the inventory you purchased. You're only subtracting out the cost of what you sold.
Okay.
So then you carry the rest of that inventory on to the next fiscal year.
But all the fixtures and furniture and all of that go into
all the shelving, all of the counter works and everything else, all of that can be tangible personal property.
And what is the deferral period? You mentioned that there's a deferral.
Well, you have assets that will be depreciated over 5 years, 7.5 years, 15 years, that will be bonus depreciation today. So the deferral period is either 5, 7.5, or 15 years.
Okay.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
May I ask a question in that regard? What Mr. Lewis is discussing? When you're a new pharmacy, you probably have losses and not gains. So how many years do you have for loss carryovers? Is it 5 years?
Forever now.
Oh, it's forever? Okay, fine. Sounds like marriage.
Nothing is forever.
There's 2 ways out of a marriage, and neither one are positive.
Till death do us part. Yeah.
Death and divorce, right? The double D's.
Hey, I've worked as a CPA on enough divorce cases that I've been divorced enough times to know how to get through that. And it doesn't have to be that painful. You just know that this is probably the biggest negotiation you will ever go through in your life.
That's how I met my wife. I turned her down for mortgage and set up the parameters for the refinance of the house in her name and taking him off the deed. It was included in the divorce decree.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another story. Okay, we're
I'm
almost
not
out of
trying
time. Yeah, thanks. You guys should have a meeting, trade stories. We got 1 minute for Burke. So say hello, Burke Franklin.
Well, thanks, Scott. Good morning, Burke Franklin, Business Power Tools. I think a lot of people have strategic planning on their minds these days. Well, the easy way to do it is just whip out your business plan and review it first of all, and then make the changes you want to make. A lot of people just start from here. It's like painting something. Just take out a spray can and start spraying it. You have to prep it first. You have to sand it down and mask it, put some paper on the floor. I think you need to do your strategic planning somewhat similarly. Look back at what you've done, who your customers are, what problem you've solved, all that stuff, or the problems you do solve. Do you want to change that? And really rethink the business from the start to finish, because just to go from here could be a mistake. Anyway, I've got a business plan software template called Biz Plan Builder that's been out there and evolving over 30 years. And a lot of people use it for business planning. Of course, the word business plan sometimes seems like it's one of those things, but a roadmap, blueprint, any way you want to look at it, playbook, to make this kind of plan that your business can run without you. So when you do sell your business, you can sit on the beach and know that it's being run and it's all good. That's sort of fantasy land, but nevertheless, without a plan or any kind of playbook or roadmap, I don't think you're screwed. So I do have a template. Look at businesspowertools.com. I'm happy to give you a demo, a tour of it. It's done for you. That's like the trick. It's not just a bunch of empty buckets. It's actually a lot of said. The models are built. They've been tested by CPAs over the years. Anyway, makes it easy to do your strategic planning. Give it a shot. Take a look at Business Power Tools, and I'm happy to help you. Thanks, you guys. Good seeing you.
Thanks, Bert. Okay, we got about 30 seconds. Betty, would you like to tell us about your show that's later today?
Yeah, Scott, you're going to be our guest on our show, the Total Traffic and Conversion Show, which is broadcast live on LinkedIn and streamed to YouTube as well. And I invite everybody to check it out on LinkedIn. If you're interested in getting a personal message inviting you to the event, I'll definitely send you one. It's not set up yet. Greg usually sets it up probably in about an hour from now, but Scott's going to be telling us about what he does, and we always have a lively, informal, and wonderful discussion with our guests. We've had some of the people in this group on before, and it's always a blast. So if you want to be on the show, let me know, and let's do it. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to it, Scott. We're going to have some fun.
Great.
So one of the other pieces, if I could jump in here, is we're looking for speakers. And if you have somebody that you would recommend, please let me know. I think we got a lot of value out about what Paul Levine spoke about today. It's a complicated subject, and I think it's quite apparent that he knows what he's talking about. So, and if you don't have that side of the fence covered, give Paul a call. He'll help you out. So anyway, that's let's get some speakers. Let's jazz up everything.
I'll end with Paul be happy with me because I used to bring my fiance to business events, so she was a deduction, not an expense.
You realize that deduction still has to be paid for.
Yes, I do know that, but at least but at least it was a social event, so I got to have fun and get to deduct it. So that's a good point.
Okay, well, thanks everybody. It looks like we got a new arrival, TD Wells. We're actually closing up right now, but if you want to say hello real quick, take it away. Hello.
Okay, that solved that problem.
Great meeting, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right, guys.
Take care.
Appreciate
Have a great
it.
weekend. Thanks again for
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
This is great.
Thank you, Paul. It was really great. Appreciate
Pleasure.
it.
Everybody.
See you in December, Bob.